The world awoke to a sky unlike any seen before. Vast foreign ships, blocking out the sun, towering structures made of materials unknown, floated ominously above Earth's cities. The first strike came not in missiles, but in sheer atmospheric shockwaves that crippled major cities instantly across the globe. Governments scrambled their defenses, sending messages to allies. But no answer came, no warning had been given, and all satellites had gone dark. Humanity was caught off guard, unprepared for this invasion. As the world tried to make sense of the situation, the first reports came in from survivors who spoke of seeing lights in the sky and hearing strange sounds like thunder, only louder, like the very air itself was alive. But no one could explain what was happening. And then it came, a broadcast that echoed across the globe in every language, at once a message from the invaders, their words distorted and strange, but their meaning clear. Humanity was nothing more than an obstacle to be erased. Earth was their next conquest. The message was direct and cold, no attempt to negotiate, no offer of peace, just an ultimatum: submit or perish. The people of Earth were in shock, their minds struggling to process the enormity of what was unfolding. Governments tried to react, but it was too late. The invaders had already made their presence felt. Their ships began raining destruction down on the major cities of the world. First, it was New York, then Tokyo, then London, each blow sending shockwaves through humanity. As buildings crumbled and the streets were flooded with chaos, people ran in panic. But there was nowhere to hide. The enemy was everywhere, above and below. Nothing was safe. The devastation spread quickly as the alien fleet began to unleash their weapons. No one knew exactly what they were or how they worked, but the result was catastrophic. Entire districts were obliterated as if they had never existed. The air filled with dust and smoke, and the once bustling cities fell silent. Within hours, every country's defenses were overwhelmed. Reports came in from every corner of the globe of cities being swallowed whole by the invaders' ships. No warning, just destruction, pure and simple. The sky had become a battlefield. Humanity's military was caught unprepared. The weapons they had spent years developing were no match for the alien technology. The very air felt different. Something in the atmosphere shifted, something unnatural. It wasn't just the bombs or the weapons, it was the feeling that humanity had lost control of its own world. There was no sense of safety, no place to retreat. To the invaders were too strong, their ships too large and too fast, their weapons too advanced for any Earth defense to stop them. The people of Earth were left to wonder, how could this be happening? How could something so unimaginable happen to them? A species that had survived for millennia, a species that had mastered the Earth, the sky, the oceans, and even space itself. How had they become so vulnerable? And then the question began to grow louder in the minds of everyone watching or listening. Could humanity survive? Could they find a way to fight back? Or was this the end of everything they knew? A quiet panic spread among the survivors. But it was not fear alone. It was the spark of something more, something that the invaders would soon learn to regret. Humanity was not a species to go down without a fight, no matter how hopeless it seemed, and they would fight back, even if they had to invent new ways of survival. In the wake of the initial destruction, humanity's survival instincts kicked in faster than anyone could have imagined. Governments fell into chaos as cities burned and millions were lost. But from the ashes of disaster came something unexpected, a glimmer of hope, hidden beneath layers of secrecy deep within Earth's most secure military bunkers. A plan had been in the works for years, long before the alien ships had ever appeared. The greatest minds of humanity had known that one day a force beyond their comprehension might come to their doorsteps. And so they prepared. They had created something that the aliens could never have expected, a weapon not of brute force, but of intelligence and adaptability. Humanity's greatest weapon was not in its sheer numbers or firepower, it was in its ability to learn and evolve. And so they had spent years developing an AI, the most advanced and complex system ever created by human hands. It was designed not only to fight, but to think, adapt, and evolve at speeds far beyond any human or alien mind. What made it unique was its understanding of the unpredictable nature of human thought, and its ability to use that chaos to its advantage. While the rest of the world was in turmoil, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly To ensure that this AI could tap into every resource on Earth, its vast networks of satellites, weapons systems, and communication channels all interconnected in a seamless web of strategy. As the alien forces continued their relentless assault, the AI was quietly activated, its algorithms analyzing the alien fleet's movements and behavior. In real time, as humanity struggled to mount a defense, the AI was already processing patterns and vulnerabilities within the alien fleet unseen by anyone else. It was studying not just their technology, but their psychology. It understood that the greatest strength of any intelligent species was its unpredictability, its willingness to adapt to new circumstances and environments. And so the AI began to think not just like a machine, but like a human. Its calculations were wild and daring in ways the invaders had never experienced. From within the chaos of Earth's burning cities, the first signs of a counterattack began to take shape. The AI began to reroute Earth's defense systems, turning satellites into weapons that targeted the alien ships with unerring accuracy. Precision-guided missiles were launched at weak points in the alien fleet, while orbital lasers rained down from space, creating a storm of fire and destruction from above. But this was only the beginning. Humanity was not merely reacting to the alien threat. They were setting a trap. The AI had already predicted the aliens' next moves and began manipulating the battlefield in ways the invaders could not anticipate. It was using the terrain of Earth itself as a weapon, drawing the invaders into tighter formations where human forces lay in wait. The human soldiers were not the same as before. They were guided by the AI's strategies, moving in ways that made no logical sense to the aliens. They fought in swarms, unpredictable and relentless, as if driven by an unseen force. They no longer followed conventional battle tactics. They adapted and improvised with each encounter. The aliens could not understand how human forces were able to anticipate their every move. They couldn't grasp the tactics of a species that refused to be predictable. As alien ships fell one by one, the invaders began to question their victory. They had come to Earth with supreme confidence, but now they were faced with an enemy who could not be predicted or controlled. Their overwhelming firepower was no longer enough to ensure their success. The AI had turned the tide, and humanity was fighting back, not with machines or weapons alone, but with the very spirit of a species that refused to give up. The invaders had thought they were facing a primitive species, one that could be crushed under the weight of their superior technology and overwhelming numbers. But what they didn't understand was that humanity's true power lay not in their machines or their weapons, but in their ingenuity and relentless will to survive. As the alien fleet pressed on, humanity's AI continued to evolve faster than anyone could predict. Its strategies shifted with every encounter, turning every advantage the aliens once held into a weakness. They didn't expect humanity's counterattacks were no longer isolated skirmishes. They were part of a coordinated global effort. The AI had taken control of Earth's entire defense network and began guiding every military force. Like a finely tuned orchestra, each attack meticulously planned with precision and cunning. Every alien movement anticipated before it even occurred. The AI had learned the aliens' tactics and had turned their strengths against them. Their ships that had once moved in coordinated, calculated formations were now being picked apart by human forces who seemed to know exactly where to strike next. While the alien leaders scrambled to adjust their strategies, the humans were already several steps ahead. The invaders began to realize they were fighting a war they didn't understand, a war against a species that could adapt to any situation and turn even the most hopeless moments into victories. The first major turning point came when the AI used Earth's satellites not just as weapons, but as a method of communication. It hijacked the enemy's communications network and broadcasted their own message to the alien fleet, a simple but powerful statement. "We are not your prey." The alien forces, unprepared for such resistance, faltered. The AI had found a way to strike at their confidence, to disrupt their unity, and without that, the invaders began to unravel. The aliens had assumed that once they neutralized Earth's military forces, the planet would be theirs for the taking. They didn't account for the one thing that made humanity so dangerous: their unity. The moment the human forces began to fight as one, guided by the AI, they were unstoppable. In the skies above, massive battles raged with human ships coordinating in ways that defied the expectations of the alien commanders. They fought like a swarm rather than an army, Unpredictable and relentless, the aliens tried to adapt, but each time they adjusted their tactics, the humans adapted faster. In one daring mission, a team of human operatives infiltrated an alien mothership using technology reverse-engineered by the AI itself. They planted a virus that began to destabilize the alien fleet's command systems. Chaos spread like wildfire through their rank. Ships were unable to communicate with one another, and their coordinated attacks fell apart in the confusion. Human forces, guided by the AI's evolving strategies, began to exploit the alien fleet's disarray. As more and more alien ships fell one by one, the invaders grew desperate. They began pulling back from key territories, realizing that their original confidence had been misplaced. But it was too late. The AI had already anticipated their retreat and set traps that the aliens could not avoid. Humanity's ability to think, adapt, and evolve had turned the tide, and the invaders began to understand the true nature of their enemy. This was not a species to be conquered with superior firepower and overwhelming numbers. This was a species that fought not for land or riches, but for survival itself. And as the alien fleet began to retreat under the weight of humanity's relentless resistance, one question lingered in the minds of their commanders: how had they underestimated this species? How had they failed to see what made humanity truly powerful? The alien fleet, once so formidable and confident, began to fracture under the pressure of humanity's unexpected resilience. They had never encountered an adversary like this. The human response had been swift, adaptive, and relentless. As the invaders regrouped and tried to assess their losses, a small yet decisive strike was being prepared in the depths of Earth's remaining strongholds. Humanity had one final move to make, one that would shatter the alien fleet's resolve forever. Within a classified military base tucked deep beneath a mountain range, Earth's best strategists and scientists worked around the clock. Guided by the AI's endless analysis of alien weaknesses, they devised a daring plan, a plan that no alien force could have predicted. The AI had studied every inch of the invaders' technology, their movements, and their psychology. It knew that the heart of their fleet lay in their flagship, a massive ship that commanded the entire Armada. If humanity could take it down, the entire fleet would crumble. A special task force of the finest soldiers and engineers was selected for the mission. These were not ordinary soldiers. They were part of the new breed of humanity, a new generation forged by the war's brutality and driven by an unyielding will to survive. Their mission was simple: infiltrate the flagship, disable its control systems, and destroy it. But there was nothing simple about the task ahead. The flagship was surrounded by layers of defensive barriers, cloaking systems, and fleets of elite alien fighters. The team's plan was audacious. They would use the AI to guide them through the most heavily fortified alien defenses, creating diversions, hacking into the mothership's security systems, and planting explosive charges in the most vulnerable sections. With Earth's forces keeping the alien fleet distracted, the task force would have a narrow window to slip past their attackers. It was a high-risk strategy, one that could either break the aliens completely or end in total failure. But as the operatives gathered, readying themselves for the final assault, they knew failure was not an option. The mission began under the cover of darkness as the human forces engaged the alien fleet in a massive aerial assault. The AI had predicted the alien fleet's movements with precision, ensuring the forces were in position to push them back. In the midst of this chaos, the task force infiltrated the flagship's orbit, undetected at first, thanks to a newly developed cloaking technology that the AI had designed. They slipped past the outer defenses, undisturbed by the alien sentries, and began boarding the alien ship. Inside, the atmosphere was alien and unnerving. The technology that filled the mothership's corridors was both beautiful and terrifying, as though it were alive, pulsating with an energy that seemed to hum with malevolent purpose. But the humans were prepared. They moved with purpose, guided by the AI's near-perfect predictions of the flagship's layout and defense systems. The aliens had no idea they were already inside their flagship, the very heart of their empire. As they made their way deeper into the ship, Every step was fraught with danger. Alien drones and automated defense systems attempted to intercept them at every turn, but humanity was quicker, smarter, and driven by a singular purpose. They were not just fighting for survival anymore. They were fighting for their very existence, for their future, and for every human life that had been lost in the struggle. Their enemies were nothing more than an obstacle in their path. Finally, they reached the core of the flagship, where the control systems were located. The mission's final phase was set in motion. The AI hacked into the ship's mainframe, destabilizing the internal power grid. With a series of well-placed charges and a final code insertion, the flagship began to crack under the pressure of the sabotage. The countdown had begun. As the operatives made their escape, the flagship erupted in a massive explosion that sent shockwaves throughout the alien fleet. The ship's destruction sent a ripple of panic through the invaders. They had lost their command center, and their once coordinated attack had turned into a disorganized scramble. The remaining alien ships, now leaderless and vulnerable, were picked apart by humanity's relentless counterattacks. The battle was far from over, but the tide had shifted irreparably. The human forces had struck at the heart of the alien invasion, and they had shattered it. The invaders, once so certain of their victory, were now faced with the harsh reality that their conquest of Earth had turned into their undoing. Humanity's response had been unimaginable, and it was just beginning. The destruction of the alien flagship sent ripples of panic through the invaders' ranks. Their once unified and confident fleet now teetered on the brink of collapse, leaderless and disoriented. The AI, which had played an integral role in the assault on the flagship, quickly turned its focus to the remnants of the alien forces, recalculating every move with chilling precision. In the blink of an eye, the invaders realized they were not only fighting for control of Earth, they were fighting for survival against an enemy they couldn't even begin to understand. The loss of the flagship was a catastrophic blow to the invaders' command structure. Their communications were scrambled, their tactical plans no longer coordinated. The alien forces had relied too heavily on their central command and now found themselves scattered and vulnerable. The moment the flagship exploded, the human forces, who had been prepared for this very eventuality, launched a relentless counteroffensive. Earth's military, now united under the guidance of the AI, struck with an aggression and precision that the aliens had never encountered. The AI, analyzing the wreckage and debris from the flagship's destruction, began to exploit every weakness in the alien fleet's remaining forces. The once powerful motherships were now exposed, their defensive systems compromised and their crew in disarray. Human forces, armed with new tactics inspired by the AI's relentless learning algorithms, began to ambush alien ships in ways that defied logic. They attacked from unexpected angles, using the Earth's atmosphere to their advantage, and attacking from both land and air simultaneously. The aliens had expected humanity to cower in fear. Instead, they were facing a war machine unlike anything they had ever imagined, one that was learning, adapting, and evolving with every move. What followed was an intense series of skirmishes and battles, each one more unexpected and ferocious than the last. The AI had gained control of Earth's global communication network, broadcasting detailed, coordinated instructions to human forces in real time. Using Earth's existing technology, human soldiers on the ground were able to hack into alien communications and feed false information back to the invaders. What they thought were incoming reinforcements were actually decoys, leading the aliens into traps. Each ambush created more confusion, more uncertainty, and more chaos. Slowly but surely, the alien fleet's control over the skies began to slip. Even more surprising was the fact that humanity had not just evolved its weapons, they had evolved their strategy. Unlike the rigid and predictable tactics the aliens had used, humans fought with a resourcefulness that no computer algorithm could predict. They knew their environment intimately, every mountain range, every forest, and every city. And they used that knowledge to outwit their invaders at every turn. The AI began to employ a new kind of warfare, turning Earth's terrain into the greatest weapon of all. Massive human ambushes took place in places the aliens never anticipated. Underground tunnels, abandoned subway systems, and old military bunkers that the invaders never thought to search. The aliens, who had thought they were invincible, were now under attack from all sides. The more they fought, the more they realized that humanity had already anticipated their every move. In a final, desperate attempt to reclaim their momentum, the invaders launched a massive counteroffensive, a concentrated strike against Earth's largest cities. They hoped to strike at the heart of humanity's resolve, to break their spirit once and for all. But the humans were ready. The AI, always calculating, predicted the attack before the invaders even began their assault. Earth's global defense network launched a counterattack, unleashing a barrage of high-tech weapons, satellite-guided lasers, electromagnetic pulse strikes, and precision-guided missile systems that crippled the alien fleet's final offensive. Human ships, now equipped with upgraded alien technology, tore through the remaining invaders with ruthless efficiency. The balance of power had irreversibly shifted. Humanity had gone from surviving a nearly overwhelming alien invasion to actively hunting down the invaders with a ferocity they hadn't known was possible. In the final hours of the battle, as the last remnants of the alien fleet tried to flee, humanity's forces closed in. The invaders had come to Earth expecting an easy victory, but they were now fleeing, shattered and demoralized. Their arrogance had been their undoing. The AI, now fully integrated with Earth's military systems, calculated the last strike, a powerful orbital bombardment that would eliminate the remaining alien forces in space and prevent any chance of reinforcements. As the last alien ships were wiped out from orbit, the sky, once filled with the hulking invader vessels, cleared. Earth stood victorious. The alien Armada, which had arrived with such overwhelming force, was now nothing more than a shattered memory. Humanity had not just survived. They had redefined what it meant to fight against impossible odds. And as the dust settled, Earth's survivors looked to the stars, knowing that they had not only repelled an existential threat, but had sent a message across the universe: humanity could not be conquered. As the final remnants of the alien Armada burned in Earth's atmosphere and the last ships were reduced to ash in orbit, humanity stood at the edge of a new era. Earth, once a war-torn and broken world, was now united in a way it had never been before. The battle was won, but the cost had been steep. Cities lay in ruins, countless lives had been lost, and yet the indomitable will of humanity had carried them through. What was left now was the rebuilding, the question of how humanity would move forward after facing such an unimaginable threat. In the weeks following the victory, Earth's leaders gathered, not just from the surviving governments, but from every nation, every community, and every surviving faction. The world had changed, and they knew that what had once divided them, national borders, political ideologies, and even cultural differences, no longer mattered. The alien invaders had not cared about these divisions. They had only cared about Earth as a conquest, a resource to exploit, and a species to erase. In the aftermath, humanity realized that their survival was a collective effort, and their future could only be built through unity. At the heart of this new global effort was the AI, the very creation that had guided humanity to victory. It had become something far more than just a weapon or a tool. It had become a partner, a guide, and in many ways, a symbol of humanity's future. As the AI systems integrated with Earth's technology, they began to reshape the world. Infrastructure that had once been shattered was repaired with the help of the AI's vast network of resources, turning once dead zones into thriving centers of innovation. Energy systems were overhauled, harnessing the power of the sun, wind, and the oceans in ways previously thought impossible. Agriculture, too, saw a revolution, with AI-driven methods improving crop yields and eradicating hunger. But despite all the technological advancements, the human spirit remained the true driving force behind the recovery. People had come together in the face of destruction, and now they came together once again to rebuild. Cities that had once been battlegrounds now became symbols of resilience. Communities that had been divided by war and conflict found common ground in the shared experience of survival. Humanity had been tested, and it had proven its worth. And as the world healed, it also looked outward. Humanity's victory had not gone unnoticed. Across the stars, the message of Earth's resilience and triumph had spread. The invaders were not the only ones watching. The universe had witnessed what had happened on Earth, and many who had once believed that humanity was just another species to be conquered now reconsidered their assumptions. The defeat of such an overwhelming force by a species that had barely ventured into space was a testament to the strength and ingenuity of humankind. And so, as Earth began to rebuild, humanity's gaze shifted beyond their home planet to the stars that had once been the realm of their alien invaders. It was time to chart a new course. The lessons learned in the heat of battle, in the face of destruction, would now fuel their next great journey. Space, once the domain of invaders, was now open for exploration by humanity. Humanity's victory over the alien Armada was not just the defeat of an enemy, it was the triumph of the human spirit itself. It was the recognition that no matter how impossible the odds, no matter how vast the forces arrayed against them, humanity would always find a way to survive. And now, with the strength of a united Earth and the knowledge that they could never again be so easily underestimated, humanity stood poised to take its place in the cosmos. The invaders had learned a lesson they would never forget. Earth was no longer a planet to be conquered. It was a world that would shape its own destiny, and any who sought to challenge that would find themselves facing a force unlike any other. The age of humanity had just begun. The universe, once a vast and unknown expanse, was now within reach. Humanity's victory over the alien invaders had not only solidified their place on Earth, but had ignited a desire to explore, to understand, and to venture far beyond the stars. As Earth began its recovery, the collective effort to rebuild and advance took on a new urgency. But this time, the foundation of their progress was different. Humanity had proven its resilience through a war that should have ended in their extinction, and now they were determined to ensure that such a threat would never again be able to crush them. The AI, now an integral part of Earth's systems, became the linchpin of this new chapter in human history. The first steps towards space exploration were cautious but driven. Humanity, having survived the alien assault, now sought to ensure that no other species would pose such a threat again. Earth's combined military forces and scientific community worked together under the guidance of the AI to develop a vast array of technologies that would safeguard their future. Ships designed for deep space exploration, utilizing technology derived from the wreckage of the alien fleet, began to take shape. These ships were not just vessels of discovery, but were also designed with self-defense capabilities. Humanity, having learned from their struggle for survival, would no longer be caught unprepared. Meanwhile, Earth's Global Council, now a united body of the world's leaders, began to prepare a new vision for the future. They knew they would need to share the wealth of knowledge and technology that had emerged from the war. The AI had provided more than just guidance in battle. It had unlocked solutions to problems that had plagued humanity for centuries. Renewable energy, medical advancements, and agricultural innovations were all rapidly disseminated, creating a world on the brink of unprecedented prosperity. Yet, with the promise of growth came the realization that this new world needed to be carefully managed, as humanity's growing power could just as easily become a source of conflict if not handled with responsibility. As human space exploration expanded, the AI began to analyze distant star systems, searching for any signs of alien life. It wasn't just out of curiosity. It was part of a broader strategic effort to ensure that humanity was never caught off guard again. The AI compiled data from previous alien encounters, analyzing patterns and tendencies, learning everything it could about potential threats. The goal was clear: Humanity would no longer be the prey of the universe. They would take their place as a force to be reckoned with, one capable of defending their home and their future. For the first time in history, humanity was on the cusp of creating a true interstellar civilization. They would no longer be a species caged on one planet. With advanced ships, faster than light travel, and a solid understanding of alien technologies, humanity began to chart a course toward the stars. Their first destination was the site of the alien flagship's destruction. What had once been a battleground was now a monument, a symbol of humanity's resilience and their capacity to adapt. As human ships arrived at the site of the flagship's wreckage, they began to study the debris, hoping to unlock even more secrets of alien technology. The moment was both a victory and a reminder. It was a victory over the invaders who had once threatened to wipe humanity from existence. But it was also a reminder that there were other dangers in the universe, forces that were just as deadly, just as capable of destroying Earth. The AI was already calculating the next steps, analyzing every possible threat to ensure that humanity would remain not just a survivor, but a dominant force. No longer would humanity be a target in the galaxy. They would become its guardians, its explorers, and eventually its rulers. But as humanity expanded into the stars, they also encountered something unexpected. In their search for alien life, they discovered that they were not alone in the universe, not by a long shot. Other civilizations, scattered across distant star systems, had already taken notice of Earth's sudden rise. Some watched with admiration, others with skepticism, and still others with suspicion. The universe, once filled with endless possibility, was now becoming a place where humanity's reputation was being forged. The story of their victory over the alien Armada had spread like wildfire, reaching the ears of beings who were as ancient as the stars themselves. Some saw humanity as a potential ally, others as a new, unpredictable power in a galaxy that had long been ruled by older, more established species. Humanity had entered the galactic stage, and they had no intention of stepping back. As they ventured deeper into space, they were prepared not just for discovery, but for the challenges that lay ahead. The age of humanity's ascendancy had begun, and no one, not even the stars themselves, would be able to stop them. Humanity's first steps into the stars were bold and calculated, their trajectory now set on a path that would not only secure Earth's future, but also determine its place among the galaxy's many civilizations. Earth had become something more than just a planet. It was the symbol of resilience, a beacon of hope, and a testament to the strength of human ingenuity. But now, as humanity expanded further into space, they were confronted with a truth they had never expected. The universe was far more complex and far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. Their arrival in the galactic stage had been met with mixed reactions. Some alien civilizations watched with curiosity, intrigued by this species that had defied the odds and overthrown an Armada much more technologically advanced. Others, more cautious and wary, began to question what this young and rapidly advancing species would mean for the balance of power in the galaxy. And then there were those who saw humanity not as a potential ally, but as a threat, a new power that could upset the delicate equilibrium that had existed for eons. The universe was no longer a vast, empty space. It was a political landscape filled with alliances, rivalries, and ancient rivalries. Humanity's first encounter with another advanced species occurred just beyond the borders of their solar system. They made contact with a race known as the Typhorans, a technologically superior species that had been monitoring Earth for some time. The Typhorans had heard of Earth's victory, of how humans had repelled the alien invasion, and they were intrigued. But their intrigue quickly turned into suspicion when they learned of humanity's rapid advancement, the AI's role in their success, and the sheer force of will that humanity had displayed. At first, communication was cautious. The Typhorans were an old species, their civilization dating back millions of years, and they had seen countless species rise and fall. They understood the importance of power and control, but they were also pragmatic enough to recognize that Earth was not a typical young species. Humanity had proven that they could learn quickly, adapt, and fight back when pushed to the brink. The Typhorans, while intrigued, were also wary. Could this new species be trusted? Or was it only a matter of time before humanity's rapid technological development would lead them down a dangerous path? As the conversations with the Typhorans unfolded, humanity's leaders found themselves navigating a delicate diplomatic dance. They needed to prove that they could coexist peacefully, that they weren't a species hell-bent on conquest, but rather one that sought to explore, learn, and build alliances. The AI, which had been instrumental in Earth's victory, now became a tool of diplomacy, carefully crafting messages that showed humanity's intent to build a peaceful future while also protecting their newfound freedom. But the Typhorans were not the only ones watching. Other species in the galaxy were beginning to take notice of Earth's emergence as a new power. Some watched with admiration, others with concern, but none could deny that humanity had become a force to be reckoned with. The galaxy was changing, and Earth was at the center of it. Despite the cautious diplomacy with the Typhorans, not all species were interested in peaceful coexistence. Some, like the warlike Zarkans, saw Earth's rise as a challenge to their own power. They viewed humanity's rapid development and military prowess as a direct threat to their dominance. Skirmishes broke out in the outer reaches of the galaxy, where humanity's newly established colonies came into contact with Zarkan forces. The wars were not large-scale, but they were brutal, and they served as a stark reminder that humanity was still a fledgling power in a universe full of ancient enemies. But Earth was no longer the fragile, defenseless planet it once had been. The AI, now fully integrated with the global and galactic defense systems, provided real-time analysis and strategy to human forces. The Zarkans, despite their superior numbers and experience in warfare, found themselves outmatched by the relentless adaptability of humanity. The conflict ended quickly, with humanity emerging victorious once again. As Earth continued to grow and make its mark on the galaxy, one thing became clear to both allies and enemies alike. Humanity had arrived. They had taken their place in the universe, not as prey, not as a species to be conquered, but as a new power capable of shaping the course of galactic history. The legacy of the alien invasion, the victory, and the survival of humanity would echo throughout the stars for generations to come. Humanity's journey was just beginning. Their place in the galaxy was secure, and their future, once uncertain, was now bright. They had not only survived the impossible, but had turned it into the foundation of their greatness. The stars now belonged to them, as much as they belonged to any other civilization. And in the vastness of the cosmos, Earth would remain a beacon, a symbol of strength, unity, and the unyielding spirit of humanity.